Hi guys, Mythmaker here. In this video, I'll be giving a basic introduction to the general flow of gameplay in Mythic Tactics and provide some insight into the thought processes behind the decision making in-game, including things such as counter matchups and planning ahead. Someone asked for Nergal gameplay, so that's who I'll be playing today, but I'll still be talking about things you should pay attention to regardless of what patron god you're using. The first of which is the realm set you get at the start of each run, because it influences what leveling curves are good for that run. If you don't know what leveling curves are, I highly recommend you to pause this video right now and read the post I made in the guides channel first. Now, the reason why the realm set can impact what leveling curve you should follow is because different realms are strong on different tiers. If you take a look at the realm overview posts I made, also in the guides channel, I mentioned what those tiers are for each realm. That said though, knowing which units are strong kinda comes with experience and understanding of the game mechanics, so over time as you play more, you'll get a better sense for it. The other important thing about the realm set is that it both restricts and opens up your options as to what comps you can play. In the comps channel, there is a link to a Google Sheet I made where you can browse some basic compositions and they're sorted by realm on the start page. So what you can do at the start of each run is to look at the realm set you're given, then go onto the sheet and see what comps you can possibly play that match that realm set. Obviously, most of the time, you're going to have more than one option. So how do you know which is better? This is where counter matchups come in. Every realm, every comp has its own strengths and weaknesses, so it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors, and knowing which comps are good against which can better help inform your choices. So with my realm set here, Nals, Yggdrasil, and Babylon. For Nals, there's three basic comps or archetypes, or kind of two, but sub branches. The first one is where you scale high attack via Toth, as well as Mortisa, and then you use summons like Sand Golem, Tawaret, or Nals Warrior to make use of that high attack and deal a bunch of damage. And then there's the pure summons build revolving around Busted, using similar summons, the same ones like Sand Golem, Turret, and Nals Warrior, or even the Reborn units as well. And then which brings us to the third comp, which is the Reborn comp revolving around Osiris and scaling with Isis. Yggdrasil has the self-damage comp, where you mainly scale with Tyr or Sith, as well as the Slay build scaling with Heimdall, in which case you usually want like Thor or Skadi. So pretty straightforward for Yggdrasil. Babylon doesn't have a lot of build diversity, but makes up for it with really strong late game scaling via Utu, right here, and Ninurta, which are their core units. Then you just buy Babylon units and deploy them and sell them and buy them and deploy them and sell them, and this is what's called cycling. And Babylon is all about cycling, and their power comes from cycling when you have Utu and Ninurta, or even Ki and Ki and Ashur. So let's do some comparisons. Nals versus Yggdrasil. This is one of those matchups where it's very obvious that one heavily counters the other. Like the whole theme of Niles is their summons, right? They have a lot of bodies rather than just being limited by the 6 slots on your board. Niles can have a lot of summons throughout the entire battle, right? So for Yggdrasil, right, this is actually very beneficial because like for the self-damage comp, for example, Nals having a lot of bodies is kind of like dealing 10 damage 5 times as opposed to dealing 50 damage once. It's still the same amount of damage, but the number of times you take damage is a lot more, which means you get to trigger Tyr and Civ scaling a lot more times as well. So it's really beneficial for the self-damage comp. And then for the Slay comp, right, by nature of Nals having a lot of bodies that you can kill, right, that means you get to trigger your Slay effects a lot more often, right? So Skadi can, give your entire team a whole bunch of attack. Berserker can can gain a lot of permanent stats. And on top of that, right, Thor, his slay effect, right, is very very strong against summon units because it can just wipe the entire board all at once. Especially, which is especially useful against like the Bastet comp, because Bastet only continues scaling as long as she's alive on the board. But if let's say you have a really high scale Thor that's scaled really high, then you can kill the Bastet, just by the chain lightning before she gets to scale. So Thor is a really strong counter against the mummies, especially Bastet summoning. Right. So both the self damage comp and the slay comp, have advantages over Niles. And so this is one of those, it's very clearly like a very clearly Yggdrasil favorite matchup. And then for Yggdrasil versus Babylon, they're both pretty like, so the Yggdrasil and Babylon tend to be just pure stat scaling comps, and so they're just like stat check comps, and which is boils down to a competition of who can scale faster or higher. So in the mid game, Yggdrasil is very stable and consistent. They can reach like 3 to 4 digits usually. But in the late game, Babylon scaling is by far a lot stronger because they can reach like 5 to 6 digits. Like that's their thing. Babylon is all about late game scaling with Utu and Inerta. You scale lots of high economy, and then that economy increases your actual stat scaling. So if you're playing depending on your circumstances, right? Like sometimes people just want to get like a 10 trophies and be done with it. Or also depending on like the kind of PG you are playing. Some PGs are better in the early to mid game, some are not so good in the late game, right? So depending on what you want to do, right? Like, sometimes Yggdrasil might be a more stable comp to rely on, and other times, but if you want to go the long distance, then Babylon is better by far. And then we have Nals versus Babylon matchup. Babylon summons can be hard to deal with, especially when you have Bastet, especially in the late game as well, because, like I said, right, Bastet scales a lot more when you're alive, when she's alive. And so the longer the game goes on, the more battles you go through, the more she scales, right? Because the more summons you get, right? So it can be hard to deal with, right? But something that Babylon can do to kind of like mitigate that is to look for stuff like range units like Humbaba or Babylonian Archer. And then obviously, ideally, you want to protect them with like a taunt unit like Eris Kigal or Gugalana. And so then what that does, right, is that the range unit gets to get at least 2 attacks off. Because when it's your turn, Humbaba, for example, will shoot one enemy Nals unit, ideally killing it, and then when it's the enemy's turn, they will attack your taunt unit like Eris Kigal, and then eventually at some point Humbaba gets to attack a second time and kill another Nals unit, right? So that one Humbaba gets 2 attacks off, because at least 2 attacks off usually, because when ranged units attack, they don't take damage, right? So they're guaranteed to not die on the first attack, right? And units that have Safeguard does that too, right? Like Gilgamesh, right? When you have Safeguard, like say for example, assuming you have like comparable stats between your units and the Nile summons units, right? One Gilgamesh with Safeguard can trade for 2 Nile units with the same stats, just by virtue of having Safeguard, right? So you can deal with, the Nile summons by, using tech units like this, right? Like, and Gilgamesh having double strike is just a bonus at this point, right? So ranged units with taunts to protect them, or Safeguard units, and you can turn the tide against Null summons. So all in all, it's kind of like a, like I said, a rock paper scissors situation. At the end of the day, though, RNG is still a huge factor in games of this genre, so for the most part, you just play what the game gives you. But it's good to familiarize yourself with these kinds of counter matchups and keep it in mind while you're playing the game. Now let's move on to Nergal. The strength of his god power lies in being able to buy a unit for 1 gold instead of 3. So it's very economical and you want to use it whenever you can, but note that turn 18 is the last turn you should use it, since any later and the unit won't be unlocked in time. Because like say if you use it on turn 19, it's going to be locked for 2 turns and unlock on turn 21, but there is no turn 21, right? All runs will end at turn 20 the latest, no matter what. So turn 18 is the last turn to use it. Now, the key thing here though is your target selection. In the early game, you want units that can make the most use out of the bonus stats to maintain your tempo. Like say for example, with Yggdrasil, Viking Warrior right here is really good target because having 2 extra base attack gives you a better chance of triggering your basically killing the enemy unit and triggering your slay effect to scale your attack even more. And then having 2 extra base health gives you more sustainability to trigger that slay effect more times, right? And then we have like Valraven here as well. A base 3/3 Valraven will attack for 6 damage, but if you Nergal GP it, a 5/5 Valraven will attack for 10 damage. So that's a difference of from 6 damage to 10 damage. So it makes very good use of the bonus +2/+2 stats. And then in the mid to late game, ideally you want to get units that still give you value from deploying or selling, since at that point you'd probably already have a comp together and won't be looking to keep the units you get with Nergal GP. So deploy units like Hyena Thief here, or Umudrabutu, Ugalu, or Tribal Scout, or even alchemy units from Shenzhou would be great options, because you spend 1 gold to buy them, right? And then you sell those units for 1 gold, so it breaks even already, but then their effects give you bonus gold on top of that. Like say Hyena Thief directly gives you ancient coins, so you gain 1 bonus gold, and then Umudrabutu, Ugalu, and Tribal Scout, they all give you 1 unit when you deploy or sell them, and that unit is equivalent to 1 extra gold at the very least, right? Sometimes it can be even more. It can, like say for example, selling an Ugalu or a Tribal Scout can give you a Sumerian Scholar, and then you basically get Sumerian Scholar's deploy effect for free. And if you already have like an Utu or Ninurta, for example, playing that Sumerian Scholar gives you 1 extra trigger as well, right? So and you get that trigger for free just by using Nergal GP on the right targets. So and similarly for alchemy units from Shenzhou, right? Like even if your break-even cost, you buy it for 1 gold and you sell it back, it doesn't do anything. But like if you deploy it before you sell it back, you get 1 celestial medicine for free, which can be really important, especially once you scaled your celestial medicines high enough. So they're all great options. For the last thing before we actually get into the game, normally when you're playing other PGs, what leveling curve is best to follow changes on a case-by-case basis. But Nergal is extremely good with Rafaam curve, and I personally pretty much never play any other curve on him. Rafaam curve has good economy and good chance for pairs or triples, and Nergal also has good economy, so they're really compatible. And the really nice thing about this, when you're playing Nergal with Rafaam curve, is that regardless of what Sanctum spell you get here, it's always going to be usable. Because if you look at the tier 1 spells here, out of all these 7 spells, only this Quick Recruit and this Sanctum Heist are 2 cost spells. The remaining 5 spells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are all one gold spells. So let's talk about the 2 gold spells first. Normally, when you play any other PG, what you can do on turn 1 is just buy 1 unit for 3 gold and end your turn, right? That's it. But when you're playing Nergal, what you can do if you're offered a 2 cost spell, because both of these spells, right? Quick Recruit either gives you a random tier 1 unit, or Sanctum Heist gives you a random tier 1 unit from the shop. Either way, you get one tier 1 unit that you can place on the board, and then you have 1 gold left over to use your GP on another unit in the shop. So you actually get 2 units on turn 1, if you got that two cost spell. So it's really good to if you get a 2 cost spell, and this is something that only Nergal can do. But otherwise, if you can, it's not a big deal. You can just buy one 3 gold, one normal unit for 3 gold. Now, if we look at the 1 gold spells though, why are they important? They're important because of Rafaam curve. Because normally on your turn 3, when you have 5 gold, what you want to do is buy a unit for 3 gold and GP for 1 gold, but then you will have 1 gold left over, which you can kind of spend on a reroll, but that would be kind of a waste. So ideally, you would want to have a 1 cost spell instead, right? Luckily, I have one right here on turn 1 already, so I could freeze for it. But when you're deciding whether to freeze or not, you've got to weigh the pros and cons. The major downside being the trade-off or opportunity cost of freezing. Because what happens when normally when you don't freeze? The shop automatically refreshes at the start of the next turn, right? Which means you saved 1 gold since you basically got a free reroll. So when you freeze, you're at a deficit of 1 gold and you lose the chance for potentially better units appearing in your shop. So you've got to think about whether what you're freezing for is worth all that. This is why it's good to plan ahead, especially when it comes to leveling curves. Like I included some similar pointers in the guide for different curves as well. If there are certain circumstances that would make a particular curve available to you, you want to look out for them right from the beginning so you can make better plays like freezing the shop. You know, like say for example, if you got an ancient coin right here, if you got an ancient coin on your turn 1 shop, right? That immediately opens up Jeeve curve for you, and what you can do is you can freeze for the coin, and then on turn 2 you will just buy 1 unit and as well as the ancient coin. And Jeeve curve is a really flexible curve, so it's a very good curve. So if you see an ancient coin, immediately you want to think, oh, I can Jeeve curve here. So that's why you want to plan ahead. So in this case for me though, like I don't really have like I can freeze for it, but I don't really have like a very good shop, right? So I kind of want to reroll the units. Like Valraven here is good and Sumerian Scholar is decent, but I don't really like the Mummy because like the Mummy isn't not Mummy, the Nalt Warrior. Nalt Warrior isn't a very good target for Nergal GP and it's not worth freezing for, especially in this spell too. This spell isn't exactly worth freezing for, you know. And even if it is, right, like the main thing is because, you know, like I said earlier, there's like 5 out of these 7 tier 1 spells are cost 1 gold, right? So even if I don't freeze for it this turn, there's still a pretty good chance that I can get another one next turn, right? And then next turn, I'm more likely to freeze for it because if I don't get a 1 gold spell on turn 3, then I would basically waste 1 gold, right? So for now, I'm just gonna do this and I'm not gonna freeze because it's not a very good freeze here. So yeah, and this is a great one here as well, especially because I got this triple, right? So normally what I would do here is following Rafaam curve is you just do this and then freeze, and then next turn what we do is, like I said, you know, we will let's see, these are all great units. So what I would do is I will buy that spell. And then I can buy this, and I can hero power, god power this. Or maybe I could have used this as well. But actually, the thing about when you have Babylon in the Realm set, right, is that Sumerian Scholar actually messes with your leveling curves a little bit. So you know, like normally, like right now, my upgrade cost is 3 gold, right? But if I play the Sumerian Scholar here, it would be 2 gold instead. And then next turn, when I'm supposed to level, I would, you know, have like different numbers messing around. But it's a good freeze here, especially since these other slots are empty, you know. So I can freeze for this here, and I don't mind. So I'm not doing very well at the moment, but this does improve my odds. So what I can do here is I will level up, and then I will buy a unit, and then I will use my GP for perfect goal, right? And actually, taunt units are actually pretty good targets for Nergal GP as well, because you know taunt units can make very good use of the bonus stats. But I'm really, leaning towards like Babylon stuff here, so that's why I went for the Babylon soldier instead. Oh, I'm doing really bad here. Okay, so now that I've got my first promo reward, right? Your first promo reward is really important because it usually it's like a tool for you to look for like a strong core unit that you eventually want to build a comp around. So that's why I mentioned the realm set earlier as well, right? Like as mentioned earlier, like the core units for the Nals units, they're for the Nals comps, they're all, like you have Bastet, you have Thoth, and you have Isis, and then maybe Osiris. So all the tier 5 units here are good options, and maybe you can go for a tier 6 if you want. And Yggdrasil, like Thor, Tyr, Skadi, are good. Heimdall, Sif, and even Baldur is good for the self damage comp. So tier 6s and tier 5s are good here, right? And then for Babylon, it's kind of like Utu and Ninurta are basically a must. Eris Kigal is good as well, or is decent as well, but prioritize Utu and Ninurta, and then if you don't have Utu yet, Eris Kig Enki or Assure or even Key sometimes can be a good like substitute for Utu prior to getting him, but you still really want Utu in the late game. So over here, right, like my good options are at tier 5 and tier 6. So ideally, I want to use my promo for a tier 5 or tier 6. So right now, I would want to start leveling up my Sanctum. So what I can do here is I'm gonna go for this, then okay, this, and I'll probably do that. And then just like that. There we go. Okay, so now, so let's see. Our opponent is at 2 stars. The tier 2. Why did I say 2 stars? Our opponent is at tier 2 with 5 Babylon units. And Babylon, especially Babylon, when you stay at low tier, it usually means you're cycling quite a lot and buying units. So you probably have a pretty strong Kusariku or maybe even a Babylon soldier. So I'm not sure I can win here. So I might want to cash it in for a tier 5 right now. Right. Sometimes I tend to play greedier and then I wait the next turn I level because this is going to be 9 gold next turn and I'll have perfectly 9 gold. Right. So like I said, again, planning ahead. Right. So I usually tend to, play more greedy and just level up next turn and then you get a tier 6, and especially I think I can afford to because I'm at 4 health here. I'm pretty decent, it could be close, it could be not, but this is like a personal preference thing. I like to play more risky, so I'm just gonna go for it honestly, I think. Yeah, narrow, very, very narrow loss there, but and I got Eris Kigal. So I could go for Thor here because it would be really strong against Niles, but I don't have a scale, any kind of like scaling with high with Yggdrasil right now. Like I could get this. Oh wait, I don't have any gold, right? So I can't. I think in this case, Eris Kigal is the best here because then I can like sell this and stuff. Yeah, I can sell this actually, and then I can use my GP for something like this, maybe. And then next turn I get another triple. And then with that, I can look for like Utu or Ninurta, hopefully. So no. Well, in this case, Harmonia here is pretty decent as well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for this. And then I'm gonna try and I think I can do this and then sell that. And then so I really need a scalar, I mean, I guess I have Harmonia, but for now, I think I want to find something like Utu or Ninurta. Oh, or actually, oh, I forgot to mention when you're playing Babylon, right? Agonista is a really core unit as well, apart from Utu and Ninurta, because a lot of Babylon units that you want to cycle are deploy units like Umudrabutu, Pazuzu, even Usumgalu and Sumerian Scholar, right? So Agonista gets a lot of value here, right? So I got this spell from Keds, and so I can possibly try and get a tier 5 here with to get Agonista, hopefully. Yeah, okay. Normally, like if this was Alex or Holic or someone else, this is a sign to pivot to Nows right away. But I don't really have any summons here. So I'm not sure this is a good call. Oh, actually I got a sure, so I could do that. Let's go with this for now. And then let's see if I can. I don't really have a good target here to let's see if I can roll, and then I guess I'm gonna do this. This is the best target here. And then I'll do that. So, okay, I got Agonista, and that's a great setup too. So what I'm gonna do here is this, and then I sell this, and then actually I should have bought Agonista first, but okay. So do this. Oh, do I just buy it right here? I think I'll just buy this right here, and then not use my hero power. Yeah, probably. By the way, actually, I just realized I did just roll past and Avidara earlier when I already had Harmonia, but in my mind I was kind of, because I'm biased, I enjoy playing Babylon, which a lot of other people don't, but I do. So I was kind of like tunnel visioned on getting Agonista and like Enki or Utuninurta. So I could totally have gone for Harmonia and Avidara here, not here but earlier. So that was my mistake. So um and it's really a lesson in like you don't want to force comps, like I mentioned earlier, right? Like there's a lot of like RNG in the game, so it really boils down to what the game gives you, right? And the game gave me Harmonia and gave me Abidara, but I didn't, like, I was too tunnel vision, right? I didn't pay attention to that, and I missed a good play, right? I could have stabilized, I could have skilled right there, and then I could have gotten an easy 10 wins. So don't learn from that, guys. And so the thing that I really like about playing Babylon though is that it makes it really easy to pivot, because like say for example I've had this Valraven for a long time, right, and it's got pretty good stats, right, but I don't really want to keep it anymore. But selling it plainly would be a waste as well. So it's great because I can get this tablet of Destiny spell from Kingu, or you could also actually get it directly from the shop. But I can target Valraven and then transform it into a Babylon unit that I might want to keep. Or even if I don't keep it, if I sell it, I can transfer its stats to Eris Kigal. Although unfortunately, I think I've already used up Eris Kigal's triggers this turn, so I'm probably just gonna use it for next turn. So, oh, that's so I have 3 units I want here. Like this is a great pair. and then this is decent, and then this is definitely I'm getting. So it depends. I could like I'm definitely gonna um GP one of them, and but I'm not sure whether I'm willing to freeze for the rest of them. In this case, I think I probably won't, because I want to prioritize getting um Utu and Inerta. I really need Inerta for my economy scaling. Utu is not as important right now because I have Assure. So I think I'm probably just gonna go for this. And then next turn I'll level up, since I only have it's gonna cost 1 gold next turn. So let's see what I get. Oh, I get an Assure. Do I want the pair? I think I take the pair. And then I'm gonna level up right here. I'm gonna sell this, and I think I want to sell the Kusariku right now before. So because if I sell it right now, I still get to transfer the stats over to Ereskegel. And my worry is like, now that I'm at tier 6, I'm probably gonna get I want to get Ninurta on board ASAP. So I'm probably just gonna do it, and then maybe I can do this down as well. Oh, this is locked. I'm down. So Ereskegel here is a good buy, and then so once you have Agonista, right? Because it's really I got it because it's great for Babylon, but once you have Agonista, right, all the deploy units become really good buys. Especially Cats right here. She's a very good economy unit because she gains you a lot of spells, right? This one right here probably really strong. I can't remember. Did I lose? I think I won. So probably just this right here, and then let's see. Nothing, but here now I'm on tier 6. I want to get that sucks. Really unlucky game. But well, I guess this is retribution for not taking Harmonia Avidara. But yeah, I was hoping for Utu or Ninurta here, so actually I'm gonna go for this. And okay, so yeah, Hyena Thief is great here. So I want to mention Hyena Thief real quick. Right now what I'm gonna do, like, it's not gonna do anything, and let me explain why. So I basically bought Hyena Thief for 3 gold, right? And I deploy it, and because Agonista doubles it up, so I sell him for 1 gold, coin for 1 gold, and coin for another gold, and I get back 3 gold, right? So I basically did nothing, right? But if let's say I have like Ninurta or Enki, or I think Ki as well. Yeah, Enki or Ki or Assure, I actually get their triggers off, right? Even though I actually didn't change my goal, I deployed the unit which triggers the Ninurta, 1/3 of Ninurta anyway. And then Ki and Enki, they don't trigger because they only trigger when you play Babylon units, but they do scale for each unit deployed this turn, right? So it's any unit from any realm will increase their scaling, the repetition count for Enki here, right? And Assure is, when you sell allies, I did get triggers there from the Assure. When you sell allies, you get 1 trigger off. Oh my gosh, that is insane. Okay, I think I'm set now, so I'm pretty good to go right here. Oh my gosh, what is that? Okay, so in this case, I think I'm gonna have to, maybe I can give up the I'm thinking, because I'm probably going to get rid of Assure in favor of Enki, not Enki, Utu anyway at some point. I probably just sell the pair. Meanwhile, and because the reason why, because normally most people would sell Humbaba here, I believe, probably, but I'm not willing to sell it because I'm still lacking core units, right? I really need Utu and Inerta. well, I have Ninurta now, but I really need Utu. So and Humbaba is a good source of unit generation, right? So I kind of I'm hesitant to sell him here. So especially now that I've got a pair here. So and another thing about related to what I said about Hyena Thief earlier, right? Like with the triggers thing, like when you can do a triple in shop and you already have the pair in hand, right? It's better to like it to place it down first before you triple, and then you can place it down a second time. So in this case, I got like two extra triggers from for Ninurta, right? Because I placed the second Egadistant down before tripling it and then placing it down again. I get two Ninurta triggers, right? Whereas if I didn't play the one from my hand and I just triple it right away and I place it down, that's only one Ninurta trigger, right? So it doesn't really matter for most other realms, but for realms like Babylon and Shenzhou and maybe Nals, for example, it will make a difference, you know. Like when you're playing Nals, like if you're playing Sobek, right? Sobek will get two triggers rather than just one, right? So, but if you're not playing Sobek, then it doesn't really matter. Whereas for Shenzhou though, like if you're playing Shenzhou and you're tripling an alchemy unit, if you place down the pair first, then triple, you gain one extra celestial medicine, which can be a huge deal, especially once you've scaled your celestial medicines high enough. So now let's see if I can get a what's his face Utu here. I couldn't, so I'm just gonna do this and sell. I'm not sure I want to get this pair right now. I could just GP it here. Let's see. I think I can for this. Oh no. Oh no. I messed up. I messed up. See, this is what happens when you don't plan ahead. Because I don't have enough gold to, and I can't sell. I thought I could sell this. Maybe I'll just. I guess I have to sell the one of them here. Or maybe I roll for yeah, okay, this is fine then. In that case, I can go for this. And I just wasted one goal, I guess. So 100% a mistake here. And in case you're wondering, the reason why I don't want to place down either the Ares Kigal or the Ninurta here is because when you're playing Babylon, you really need cycle space, right? Because you're cycling a lot, right? So you really need space to cycle. So if I put down the pair here, right, or this pair, and I fill up my slots, and then if I can triple it immediately on the first move this turn, right, then I'm basically gonna have to lose something, right, and I don't get to cycle. So then, it would be really disastrous. So. But oh, I finally got Utu here, so I'm gonna buy this. Then I can sell it and transfer stats over. And then, so this is a really good target. And these two are really good targets for Nergal GP, like I mentioned before. And I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna choose to delay this because I want to buy Ugalu to start scaling Utu right now. You know, the Hyena Thief isn't as important at the moment. Cats is important, so I would go for like this. Oh, and this is great with Humbaba as well. And then probably this is good here, I think. So let's go for this. That. What am I facing? I'm facing lots of nulls, in this lobby. Okay, so now watch, right? So I have one trigger. I place one trigger now, and then I buy, and then I get another trigger, right? Now for Ninurta, I'm not going to do that. And then if you watch, I just get one trigger, right? So if I place down the Ninurta from my hand first, and then a triple, I get one extra trigger, right? And that would have made a huge difference in the late game, especially, like, because Utu increases the amount, each time you trigger, it increases the stats you gain, right? So, um, mm. And by the way, so the reason why I keep these units like Sumerian Scholar in hand, right, is because I don't need them anymore, and I could play them to scale Utu, right? But the thing is, if you click on your Sanctum level, you can see here that every unit of like each unit of each tier has a different number of copies in the pool. Right, so like tier 1 units like Sumerian Scholar, there's 30 copies of Sumerian Scholar in the pool, right? But by keeping this Sumerian Scholar in my hand, right, there's only 29 Sumerian Scholars remaining in the pool, right? So that when I play Usumgalu, I get less of a chance to get Sumerian Scholar in this shop, right? Um, because I don't want Sumerian Scholar anymore. She's useless now because I'm already max. My Sanctum is already max level. I mean, she's not totally useless. I can still trigger Utu and Inerta with her, but you get the point. The point is to, like when you, like, obviously tier 1s are not a good example for this. But if you look at like, tier 4s or 5s or tier 6s, right? Like, if you keep them in your hand, if you keep the units you don't want in your hand, right? Then when you re-roll the shop and when you, activate any kind of like a conjure effect, like a Umudrabutu, right? Then you'll get less of a chance to get units that you don't want, right? Like say if I kept Eriskigal in my hand and then I play Umudrabutu, I get less of a chance to get another Eriskigal because there's lesser Eriskigals in the pool, right? Whereas if it's for something like Sumerian Scholar or Ugalu, right? For example, if I like it's for Ugalu, I want to get Ugalu again, right? So I don't want to keep Ugalu in my hand. I want to sell Ugalu, and then when I play Umudrabutu, I have more of a chance to get Umudrabutu, to get Ugalu from Umudrabutu, this guy. So, I think I can get the Ugalu here. And then since I already used my hero power, this is good here, and then let's go. And by the way, the same logic also applies to Tablet of Destinies, right? Like because Tablet of Destinies, can only transform any unit you target into a Babylon unit, right? So if you don't want it to transform it into some particular Babylon unit, right? Like say if I don't want to get Ugalu again, you're right. I say maybe I target the Avidara here, and then I want to get an Eriskigal or an Utu or an Inerta. If I don't sell Ugalu, then I get less of a chance to get the Ugalu here, right? Like I have more chance to get something else other than Ugalu. But if I sell Ugalu first, then I get a higher chance to get an Ugalu here. I obviously I didn't get it here, but it's a tiny little thing that you can do. Like, see right there, right? Like I got another Ugalu here, Whereas if I didn't sell that Ugalu earlier, I might not have gotten this Ugalu, right? So likewise again with this Pazuzu, I want to get Pazuzu again, so I'm going to sell it, and then when I sell Ugalu, I get a better chance to get Pazuzu again. Like look at that, just right there proves my point, right? So if I didn't sell the Pazuzu, or if I played the Ugalu first and left that Pazuzu in shop, I might have not been able to get this second Pazuzu. Is this still locked? Okay, never mind. And so these units, right, like for example, like these units I don't want to get more of. So that's why I'm keeping them in hand, so that when I play Umudrabutu, I have a better chance of, speak of the devil again. I have a better chance of getting other units. It doesn't work as well when we're dealing with like, lower tier units though, because they have a lot of copies, right? But it works pretty well for high tier units. And I have a pair here. And like even though I said keeping them reduces my chances of getting them again, but I'm still gonna sell this here because of what I said earlier about the triggering thing, right? If I don't, because my worry is, let's say I play Umudrabutu here, And then let's say I get a Babylon soldier, right? Then it triples right away. Then I actually lose triggers, right? Because if I play this right now, and then I Ugalu first, for example, and if let's say I had gotten another Babylonian soldier, I could have placed that Babylonian soldier down to get one extra Utu trigger. But if I didn't sell my first Babylonian soldier, it would have tripled and I would have lost one trigger. So likewise here with Asag. Asag, there's no units, no valid targets I want to consume here, so I can't deploy her, but I still want to get rid of her just so I don't accidentally triple her. I already have a Humbaba here, so I'm just not gonna get the Gilgamesh. Oh, I could possibly get this here. I think maybe what I'll do is I'll do this. And oh, actually, I missed Sorel earlier. Sorel would also have been a decent target because of Agonista. And the nice thing is because Sorel gives tier 2 spells, right? And if you look at the tier 2 spells, right, this is an economy spell, this is an economy spell, this is a kind of economy spell because you get a unit, and even if that unit is useless, you can sell it back for 1 gold, right? So that's an economy spell, and then this is good stats, and this is also good stats, right? So with Agonista, Sorel is pretty decent, a decent buy. Oh, I'm out of space. So, wow, that's a lot of Kingus. I'm not sure I want them, though. Don't really have any use for them right now. I mean, I could try and get transform for Utu and Inerta, but not very... Oh, yeah, actually, I do have Inerta right here. Since I'm missing space. Oh, Eris Kigal. It's a good buy. And, oh, I already used my... Okay, never mind. Okay, great. That's cats right here. And so actually, the thing about this spell, right, is because by definition of different unit, right, it guarantees that whatever unit you target, right, you cannot get that unit, right? So again, you can play around with the pool, right? Like if let's say right now, ideally what I want to get is like Utu and Inerta and Eres Kigal, like the tier 6 units from Babylon, right? If let's say I target it on like a Sug, for example, then it guarantees I cannot get a Sug, which means I get a better chance of getting Eris Kegal or Utu or Inerta, right? So, I basically, like kind of like maximize your chances of getting what you want, right? And if you're not, let's say I wasn't tier 6, right? Let's say I was on tier 5, right? Then this spell cannot possibly give me a tier 6 anyway, right? So if I want to maximize my chances of getting another unit, I would target it on a tier 6 unit if my Sanctum wasn't tier 6. Because if I'm only at tier 5, right? If I'm at tier 5 and I target a unit that's tier 5 or lower, I'd reduce the pool of units that I can get, right? But if I target a tier 6, I don't reduce the pool. If I was at tier 5, that only works if you're not next tier yet, right? And then you can target a unit that's higher tier than you currently are, your Sanctum is currently at. So right now, I probably want Utu Ninerta, so maybe I'll just target Usungalu, and then I get a chance of getting Usungalu. I didn't, but oh well. So, and then let's see, I'm gonna have to sell the... And then I'm gonna do this, and precise invocation. Once again, I'm going to do this. Oh, nice. So this is the problem when you're playing Babylon. I think I'm just going to sell this because I already have one here, and I can just use the that Sword of the Chosen One spell. That's a decent freeze, I think. Maybe I can... Let's see. So I could possibly take a risk here, and if I get an Ugalu here, right? if I transform this into Ugalu, I can get enough units to get 3 gold, and then I can buy the Umu Drabudu right here, and then I don't have to freeze. So I'm gonna take the risk here, and nope, failed. So in this case, I'm just gonna freeze and then buy the spell. So now I go with this. Oh, actually, I should have used this first. Free up some space. Then, let's see. I think I want to get this. That's a really good triple. Oh, okay. So I got Utu triple here, and once again, I'm gonna place this down first and then triple, and then I get one more Ninurta trigger. None of them I want here. Right there, that's perfect. I can place this down, right? Not yet? Oh well. I'm just still gonna buy this. And then next turn it'll triple. Turn 15. I think it's worth going for. So I'm gonna buy this, but my hand is starting to get really full. So I think I can, yeah. I'm gonna go for a scout and then coin here. So see, like cats has quite a lot of value with Agonista. So probably a bastard right here. Oh no, that's a what? How is that? That's a pretty big Mortiser. I don't think I'm worried about it though. I'm more worried about what else isn't there that I can't see. Oh, well, okay. I should have, if I had known what was coming, I would have gotten an extra trigger again, but I, yeah, wasn't able to do that. So at least I don't need this anymore. So when it unlocks next turn, I can just sell it. And so again, you can play around with the poll by like, let's say I don't want Enki anymore, right? Because Enki, she serves the same purpose as Utu. They're both basically scalers, but I don't really need her anymore, right? So by keeping her on my board instead of selling her, I get, because she's in tier 5, right? So there's 7 copies of Enki in here. But if I keep her on my board, right, there's only 6 copies left. And whenever I reroll the shop, I get a less chance of getting Enki again. Right? So now I don't need any more Humbaba, so once again I was playing around with that, right? Because like it's not that I don't want to get Humbaba, but I don't need Humbaba anymore, so I target tailored recruit. I target Humbaba with that spell, so that it guarantees I can get something else that would be more useful to me than another Humbaba. And then this here is obviously great. Oh no, oh well, it's fine, not a big deal. Okay, this is what I want, Pazuzu right here. And then Pazuzu again. And notice how, like, I'm always playing the units that I want more of first before I play, like, Umu Drabutu or Ugalu. So that's something like that eventually, like you want to, it's gonna be like muscle memory. Let's see where I can't sell any of this, right? I think I'm gonna do this right away. Let's do that. And then I can do this. What? Oh, I miscounted again because of that. Oh well. Okay, I'm gonna freeze here for the Agonista. I'm floating gold here a bit, which ideally you don't want to. But the thing is, so there's the bad thing here. I don't know how many free rerolls I have left. So I could have a lot and then waste quite a lot of rerolls. Even if I wanted to spend that 1 gold. And the other thing too is, when you're playing Babylon, you have quite a lot of economy. So I'm not too worried about just wasting that 1 gold. So let's see. Anything I can place down here? Nothing. I don't. Yeah. Don't want to. So yeah, like see, like I mentioned earlier, right? When you get a range unit protected by a taunt unit, like look at Humbaba, he's gonna get 2 triggers off, and let's see how many triggers how many slay procs he gets by the end of this battle. I might lose here though, actually. Oh, never mind, the busted died. There, he gets 4 triggers, right? So he traded and he didn't even die, right? So that means he as one unit killed 4 units, right? So that's why I mentioned earlier at the beginning, when in the Nals versus Babylon matchup, Humbaba having range is really great here. Oh, okay. I should have paid attention, and this is why Humbaba is really strong as well. I got that Ares Kigal triple from Humbaba. So my luck is turning around. Just had to complain a little bit, like the other people in the server like to say. So I froze for the Agonista. Let's not forget to buy it. But oh, my hand is full. So that, and then let's do that. So here I play the Pazuzu first and I sell it. And then when I play Usungalu, I get a better chance of getting Pazuzu again. I didn't get it right here, but it's just good practice overall. Even though it might not seem like much, it can. Like you'll be happy when it does pay off, and when you do get that extra Pazuzu or extra Ugalu or whatever. It's like one of life's little what would you call it, moments that I like, very satisfactory moments, I think. um so um, I could do this. So yeah, like, oh, this is the problem. I'm gonna have to use this. So like I said, right, like, that pool thing, right, applies to Tablet of Destinies as well, right? So I have 2 Babylon units in the shop here. So if I want to try and get another Babylon unit that's neither a Sag or Kusariku, I can target something else, right? And then I get less of a chance to get a Sag and Kusariku on that conjure. So, and then and like I mentioned earlier before too, with the hyena thief, I buy him for full gold. I sell him. I actually gain gold now that Agonista is rank 2. I gain 3 coins instead of 2, so I gain a net gain of 1 gold. But it also gives me 1 Inerta trigger. And normally, now that I have good economy, I would want to go for a Kingu here, but my hand is kind of full, so I'm just gonna skip him, honestly. I think I want to go for Pazuzu here. Pazuzu is really good, and Imudabutu as well. What I really want is to triple my Ninerta or Utu though, because or my Agonista though, sorry, because it's really filling up my hand here and it's being annoying. And like I mentioned earlier, this is like part of the reason why people don't like to play Babylon, because it's really long. It's really high EPM, but I enjoy it because the little things here and there. because I have ADHD, so I need constant action, you know? But we're almost there. We're at 9 wins, so there's good units here. I don't wanna. I think I'm just gonna sell this because I don't have a spit. Yeah, I'm just gonna sell this Usumgalu without playing him. It's a really tough decision to make, but it's not worth. I had two good buys in the shop here, so it's not worth risking to me. Because normally, like you would want to at least deploy. Why is this locked? And oh, because this was from last turn. Okay, I forget. So I'm not deep here, so it's fine. I think this is fine. And then once again, I miscalculated my gold. So, and there's a one cost spell here I can take, I guess. Maybe, oh, never mind. Freeze for Agonista. That's perfect. Freeze up slot. So there, that's 10 wins. And like I mentioned earlier, Babylon is really strong with late game scaling. So and I've got a really good comp here now, right? So I'm basically locked in. I'm good to go. I can go the distance. It's only 4 more turns. But I can probably win all four. For the purposes of the video, I don't want to make it too long. I've already been talking for an hour, so I'm just gonna end it off here. I want to talk a bit more about survival and stuff though, because different comps, right, are suited, like I said before, have different strengths and weaknesses. So some are suited for like mid game, just tempo, just get your 10 wins out and be done with it. Some of them are late game scaling, right? So in this case, I've got a good late game scaling comp. So I am probably going to go for survival after I end this video. But say for example, if you have Kami, like I'm playing Babylon and I have Kami in the realm set, right? Kami lethal is a very strong counter against stat check comps, like Yggdrasil included, right? So if Kami was in the realm set, I would be less incentivized to go for survival, right? So these are the things you wanna keep in mind and take into consideration when making decisions in game. So hope you learned something from watching this video. I know I talked a lot. Some of you might not have the patience for it, but if you stayed till the end, I hope you learned something, and thank you for watching.